So in yesterday class, we discussed SN1 mechanism. And today's class, we are going to discuss about SN2 mechanism. Right. So before going to discuss this SN2 mechanism, let us say, first I'll tell you what is retention, what is inversion of configuration during a chemical reaction. Let us say one simple example I'll take here. C2H5, C, a group X, methyl group, hydrogen. So this is the three-dimensional structural formula of an organic compound, so called as Wedge-Dash method. So when this molecule is allowed to react with a reagent Y, so when it is allowed to react with Y, so this Y replaces X. So this is another nucleophile. Y is a nucleophile. This nucleophile replaces the nucleophile X. Then here, the process takes place in two different ways. X eliminated by Y nucleophile. The first one is Y replaces X. And then this remaining configuration, the spatial orientation of the groups remains same. Without any change in the spatial orientation of the groups, X replaced by Y. Then we can get the product like this. C2H5, H, X, CH3. Now here X is replaced by Y. Now if you observe these two molecules are having a same spatial orientation of the groups. Just X replaced by Y. Now this is the product which is formed called with retention of configuration. So retention of configuration means without change in the spatial orientation of the groups, the product formation takes place. Then what is inversion of configuration? Now suppose if Y replaces X by changing the spatial orientation of these groups. Now let us see the product here. C2H5, C, H, CH3. Now here, if you observe this equation, X replaced by Y, but the spatial orientation of the groups changes. Just like as this is the reactant molecule, then product molecule we got like this. Suppose this is X and this will be Y. Nothing but just like as inversion of umbrella when you go outside during a rain, right? So this is the shape before inversion of umbrella, and then this becomes like this. Opposite configuration means a reverse inversion of configuration takes place. So here the product formation takes place with a change in the spatial orientation of the groups. This is called as inversion of configuration. This is nothing but retention of configuration. This is inversion of configuration. So in some cases, let this product as A and this product as B. In some cases, the mixture of A and B will be formed in equal amounts, 50% A and 50% B, and this is called as racemic mixture. So in yesterday class we discussed in SN1 reaction, racemic mixture will be formed as a product. That means the product formed will contain same configuration as well as inverted configuration. If both are formed in equal amounts, that is 50 and 50%, then that mixture is called as racemic mixture. So this is regarding retention, inversion, and racemization. If the product formation takes place without change in the spatial orientation of the groups, that is called as retention of configuration. If the product formation takes place with a change in the spatial orientation of the groups, then that is called as inversion of configuration. If both these two are formed in equal amounts, then that compound is called as racemic mixture. So this is regarding retention, inversion, and formation of racemic mixture. Now we'll come to SN2 mechanism. So this is nothing but a ethyl bromide. So when ethyl bromide is allowed to react with alcoholic aqueous KOH, when allowed to react with aqueous KOH, then this Br minus replaced by OH minus, and we can get methyl bromide. So methyl bromide is allowed to react with aqueous KOH, then we can get the product like this. Methyl alcohol plus KBr plus KBr. Okay, so methyl bromide this is. So methyl bromide react with aqueous KOH to give methyl alcohol plus potassium bromide. This is the equation. Now let us see the mechanism of this reaction. This is methyl bromide. Now here, this will be attacked by OH minus first. So here, the nucleophile OH minus cannot attack from the front side. Why? Because while this new OH minus nucleophile approaches from the front side, there exists repulsion between this existing nucleophile and the attacking nucleophile. So rather than attacking from the front side, this OH minus nucleophile can attack from the rear side of this carbon, not from the front side. So whenever this attack from the rear side, first it forms a partial bond. It forms a partial bond with carbon by donating partially this lone pair of electrons. Whenever the partial bond is formed between carbon and oxygen, the bond between carbon and bromine breaks partially. Here partial breaking of bond takes place. So as a result here, we can get a transition state. A transition state is formed. What is transition state? Like here in this transition state, The bond between carbon and oxygen or carbon and bromine are not true bonds. This is not a complete bond. Partial bond formation and partial breaking of bond takes place. And this is called as the transition state. This is not a reactant, not a product, not a reaction intermediate. So this is called as a transition state. Now, with the time, what will happen here is, with the time, slowly the bond between oxygen and carbon becomes strong, and the bond between carbon and bromine becomes weak. So whenever a strong bond is formed between carbon and oxygen, this Br minus will get separate. Then the molecule becomes like this: C, H, 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 and OH plus Br minus. And what the Br minus separated, and remaining K plus of KOH both combined to form KBr like this. So this is the reaction. This is the mechanism for SN2 reaction. See once again. The nucleophile OH minus attack from the rear side of the carbon and partially donates lone pair of electrons to carbon. As a result, a partial bond is formed between carbon and oxygen, and bond between carbon and bromine breaks partially. Now this is called as a transition state. Now with the time, the bond between carbon and oxygen becomes strong, carbon bromine becomes weak. So whenever a strong bond is formed between carbon and oxygen, Br minus will leave from the reactant molecule. Then we can get methyl alcohol as product with the elimination of Br minus. Right. Now, see the energy level diagram I draw for this. How this reaction takes place. This is potential energy, and these are reaction coordinates. So this is a reactant molecule. So reactant molecule converted to product molecule like this. Reactants to products. And now, meanwhile, this is formed. This is transition state. Here transition state is formed. This is Rx. And what the transition formed here are Rx with partial bond and O. This is the transition state. And then this transition state decomposes to give the product ROH. So first reactants Rx attacked by OH minus and forms a transition state, and this transition state decomposes to give product. And what the transition state formed here, this must possess this minimum energy, what is called as threshold energy. If the energy of this transition state is less than this, suppose the transition state is formed here only, then product will not be formed. Whenever we will cross this energy barrier, then only product will be formed. So when the energy of this transition state is minimum having this much energy, then only that is converted to product. If the energy of transition state is less than this energy, suppose here it is there, then again this transition state decomposes to give back reactants only, not products. So whenever the transition state possesses a minimum energy called as threshold energy, then only the transition state forms products. Otherwise, it can convert it back to reactants only. So this is a energy level diagram for formation of for the mechanism of SN2 reaction. Right. Now, what are the characteristics? What are the characteristics of this SN2 mechanism? So now, among these two steps, this is the slow step. Formation of a transition state is the slow step. Once if transition state is formed with threshold energy, it decomposes readily to give products. Okay, right. Now, so here the reaction takes place in how many steps? This is a single step mechanism. Don't think that this is one step, this is one step. Total is a single step. So this is a single step mechanism. The reaction takes place in a single step. It is a single step mechanism. It is a bimolecular reaction. So it follows second order kinetics. Let us see now here. This is the slow step. In the slow step, how many reacting species are there? One is OH minus and one is methyl bromide. Since two molecules or two particles are participating in the reaction, it follows second order kinetics. And this is an elementary reaction because the reaction takes place in a single step. So if reaction takes place in a single step, that is called as elementary reaction. In an elementary reaction, how many reacting molecules are participating? That is the molecularity. Since in the elementary reaction, two species are participating, it is a bimolecular reaction. And since two reacting species can decide the rate of reaction, it follows second order kinetics. Next. Here the reaction state takes place by the formation of a transition state. Transition state is formed. No reaction intermediate here. Just a transition state is formed. And that transition state decomposes to give the product. So transition state is formed. No rearrangement takes place. So just like as in SN1 reaction, here in SN1 to reaction, no rearrangement takes place. Rearrangements are not possible. And then, so what is the order of reactivity for this SN2 mechanism? See here, the OH minus has to attack this carbon where the nucleophile is attached. So here, what the groups present here, these groups are not much bulkier. That means, suppose if the size of these groups increases, the bulkiness around this carbon increases. As the bulkiness around this carbon increases, attack of this OH minus becomes difficult. So, less substituted haloalkanes undergo SN2 reaction more readily. What is the order of substitution? Here I take methyl halide CH3X, primary, secondary, tertiary, number of substitution increases. Here halogen carbon is attached to one carbon. Here it is to two carbons attached to three other carbons. That means, suppose if I take here CH3, let us use. Now this becomes which type of haloalkane? This is a primary haloalkane. Here also if I take CH3, secondary. Here also if I take CH3, then become tertiary. So here as the number of carbons increases around this carbon atom, that is as the size of the alkyl group increases, the bulkiness increases. See this is carbon. Around this carbon, large groups are present here like this, methyl groups. Then now attack of this OH minus becomes difficult. Suppose here H is there. Here also H is there. Let us assume. Now bulkiness is less. Here if I take CH3, bulkiness increases. One more CH3, bulkiness increases. So as the substitution at the carbon atom increases, the bulkiness increases, there is a steric hindrance increases, attacking of OH minus becomes difficult. If attacking of OH minus becomes difficult means the rate of reactivity decreases. So less substituted haloalkanes are more reactive. More substituted haloalkanes are less reactive due to steric hindrance. Now the order of reactivity is methyl halide greater than, primary greater than, secondary greater than, tertiary. So this is the order of reactivity of different haloalkanes for SN2 reaction. Next, strength of nucleophile. So here A strong nucleophile is required. A strong nucleophile is required for this SN2 reaction to take place. One thing is, what the attacking nucleophile is there, this attacking nucleophile must be stronger than this leaving nucleophile. A strong nucleophile can replace weak nucleophile, but a weak nucleophile cannot replace strong nucleophile readily. So this strong attacking nucleophile is required. Next. So it follows a second order kinetics, means rate of reaction depends on concentration of haloalkane as well as nucleophile. So rate of reaction is directly proportional to the product of concentration of nucleophile and the concentration of haloalkane. Both can decide the rate of reaction. Next. What type of solvents is required for this? So this reaction is favorable in polar aprotic solvents. Polar aprotic solvents are favorable like a DMF, dimethyl formamide, dimethyl sulfoxide, methyl cyanide, acetone, like this. These are polar solvents which cannot release proton. So polar aprotic solvents is required. Because here, no need of elimination of a nucleophile in the beginning only. After attacking of this OH minus, then the existing nucleophile is required. Nucleophile get eliminates. So no need of having a protic solvents here. So polar aprotic solvents are required. Next. In this mechanism, inversion of configuration takes place. So inversion of configuration takes place. That is what is called as a Walden inversion. So if you take an asymmetric carbon and unsymmetrical molecule, the complete inversion of molecule takes place, and the complete inversion of molecule of an optical active compound, which is nothing but known as a Walden inversion. So this is regarding the characteristics of SN2 mechanism. See once again. So this SN2 reaction takes place in a single step. This is a bimolecular reaction, since OH minus and haloalkane both participate in the rate determining step, that is the slowest step. Since in the slowest step 2 molecules are participating, it follows second order kinetics. And this reaction takes place through the formation of a transition state. So transition state is formed as the transition through the formation of transition state, the reaction takes place. And in this, after formation of transition state, no rearrangements are possible. Without any rearrangement, the product formation takes place. The order of reactivity is methyl halide greater than, primary greater than, secondary greater than, tertiary. Why? Because as the substitution at the halogen bonded carbon increases, the steric hindrance at the carbon increases. There is a bulkiness of these groups increases, steric hindrance increases, and hence rate of reactivity decreases. And in this reaction, we require a strong nucleophile. And the attacking nucleophile must be stronger than the existing nucleophile. A strong nucleophile can replace weak nucleophile. Next. Rate of reaction depends on the concentration of both haloalkane as well as concentration of the attacking nucleophile both. And this reaction is favorable in polar aprotic solvents. And this reaction takes place by inversion of configuration. These are the characteristics of SN2 mechanism. Now let us compare once SN1 and SN2, what we discussed yesterday. SN1 reaction takes place in 2 steps, whereas SN2 reaction takes place in single step. Next, SN1 reaction follows is a unimolecular reaction. whereas this SN2 is a bimolecular reaction. SN1 reaction follows first order kinetics, whereas this reaction follows second order kinetics. SN1 reaction takes place through the formation of a carbocation as the reaction intermediate, whereas this SN2 reaction takes place through the formation of a transition state. Rearrangements are possible in SN1. Secondary can rearranges to tertiary by 1, 2 alkyl shift or 1, 2 methyl shift. Whereas in this SN2, no rearrangement takes place. The order of reactivity of SN1 mechanism is tertiary greater than, secondary greater than, primary greater than methyl halides. And here it is exactly reverse. Methyl greater than, primary greater than, secondary greater than, tertiary. Next. For SN1, a weak nucleophile is required, whereas for SN2, a strong nucleophile is required. In SN1, rate of reaction depends on concentration of haloalkane only, whereas in SN2, rate depends on haloalkane as well as the concentration of attacking nucleophile. SN1 reaction is favorable in polar protic solvents, whereas SN2 reaction is favorable in polar aprotic solvents. In SN1 mechanism, racemic mixture is formed, whereas in SN2 reaction, inversion of configuration takes place. Okay. So this is regarding a comparison of SN2 and SN1 mechanism. Now let us see one more type. SNI. This is not required for PUC, just only useful for objective point of view. SNI, substitution nucleophilic intramolecular. There is nothing but intramolecular nucleophilic substitution reaction. That means within the molecule, one nucleophile can replace another nucleophile. That is nothing but intramolecular nucleophilic substitution reaction. Let us see an example here. H2N, CH2, 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 Cl. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4-chlorobutanamine. This is the compound. Yes, yeah. Then, so how the nucleophilic substitution takes place here? Here we are not using any attacking reagent here. Within this molecule, what the NH2 group is there? This is a nucleophilic center. Now, this nitrogen attacks this carbon and donates electron pair. Whenever this nitrogen donates electron pair here to this carbon, this electron pair is gained by chlorine and Cl minus gets separates. As a result here, we can get a 5-member ring structure. A ring structure is formed between first and this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-member ring structure is formed. In that 5, 4 carbons and 1 nitrogen is present. Now what is the product formed here is like this. N, H, H becomes plus. By donating electron pair, this nitrogen becomes N plus. This carbon gains 1 electron pair and loses 1 electron pair. No charge is acquired here. Plus Cl minus. Now, from this, that is this compound what is formed here, this electron pair is gained by this nitrogen and H plus gets separates. This is the product what is formed. Nothing but there is a tetrahydrofuran which is called as. Now here if you observe this reaction, SNI reaction takes place through the formation of a cyclic compound. In that 5 or 6 member ring is the preferred product. 5 or 6 member ring is formed if a nucleophilic substitution takes place within the molecule. This is called as intramolecular nucleophilic substitution. Within the molecule, one nucleophilic site can replace another nucleophile. As a result, we can get a cyclic compound as the product. 5-membered or 6-membered rings are generally formed in SNI reaction. This is another type of nucleophilic substitution reaction. Okay, right. Now let us see how to predict whether a given compound undergo either SN1 mechanism or SN2 mechanism or SNI. SNI means within the molecule, 2 nucleophilic sites should be there, and one nucleophile can replace another nucleophile through the formation of 5 or 6-membered ring structure. That is clear. If only one nucleophile is there in the given molecule, then how to predict whether it undergo either SN1 or SN2? See here, primary haloalkanes, secondary haloalkanes, tertiary haloalkanes, benzyl and allyl. These are different types of halides. Still some are there. Aryl halide, anti-aromatic compounds, bridge halogen compounds. So these are different types of compounds. Out of these, which undergo SN1 reaction, which undergo SN2 mechanism? See, primary haloalkanes undergo SN2 mechanism always, except in one case. Except in one case, they undergo SN1 mechanism. That I'll tell you later. Primary haloalkanes undergo SN2 mechanism. Only in one case, where the halogen is bonded to, where the alpha carbon is bonded to heteroatom or beta carbon contains double bond, then they undergo SN1, not SN2. Only one exception case is there. Secondary haloalkanes. Secondary haloalkanes can undergo SN2 as well as SN1. Both they can undergo. Tertiary haloalkanes undergo SN1 only. Benzyl and allyl also undergo SN2 as well as SN1. Whereas this allyl halides also undergo SN2 as well as SN1. Okay. Now, and before going to discuss this, just let's see best what are the factors that can affect SN2 mechanism. We didn't discuss that. So first we'll discuss that, later we'll go for this. What are the factors affecting SN1, SN2 mechanism? Afterwards we'll discuss this. The first one is structure of haloalkane. Structure of haloalkane can decide SN2 mechanism. That is, as we discussed just now, as the substitution at the halogen attached carbon increases, that is, as the number of branches at the halogen attached carbon increases, the rate of reactivity decreases towards SN1. So the order is CH3X greater than, primary greater than, secondary greater than, tertiary. This is structure of haloalkane. First factor. The second factor is nature of leaving group. And this is just similar to SN1 mechanism what we discussed. So better leaving groups favors SN2 mechanism. What are better leaving groups? Weak bases are better leaving groups. Weak bases are better leaving groups, and the leaving effect is I minus greater than, Br minus greater than, Cl minus greater than, F minus. And this is just similar to SN1 mechanism what we discussed. So weaker is the base, better is the leaving group. Leaving effect is inversely proportional to basic nature of the leaving group. And third one, strength of nucleophile. There is nothing but a concentration of nucleophile. So for SN2 reaction to take place, here we require a strong nucleophile. A strong nucleophile is required. That is, the attacking nucleophile must be stronger than the leaving nucleophile. So strong nucleophile is required for this. Then what is strong nucleophile? What is weak nucleophile? So if you take a molecule and the anion of the corresponding molecule. So anionic nucleophile are stronger nucleophiles than the compared to molecular nucleophiles. See here. So anionic nucleophile is stronger than the molecular nucleophile. So if you take water, water is a nucleophile because it acts as a Lewis base. It cannot lone pair of electrons. From OH, H2O, if remove H plus, the remaining is OH minus. Now, it's just already here, HO minus, another OH minus. And now this OH minus contains how many lone pairs of electrons? 3 lone pairs. Here oxygen contains 2 lone pairs, whereas here oxygen contains 3 lone pairs. So electron density at this oxygen is more. So this can act as strong nucleophile than compared to water. So hey, OH minus is strong nucleophile than compared to water. Next, NH2 minus is a strong nucleophile than compared to ammonia molecule. Here nitrogen contains 1 lone pair, whereas here this nitrogen contains 2 lone pairs of electrons. So NH2 minus is strong nucleophile than water. So if you take alcohol, ROH, alkoxide ion, RO minus. Alkoxide ion is strong base, that's a strong nucleophile than compared to alcohol. So anionic nucleophiles are stronger than compared to molecular nucleophiles. So a strong nucleophile is required here. In the presence of strong nucleophiles, SN2 reaction takes place. Next, solvent effect. So for SN2 reaction to take place, we require polar aprotic solvents. What are polar aprotic solvents? Let us see here now. Like DMF, which is called as a dimethyl formamide, HCONH2. This is formamide. 2 hydrogens replaced by 2 methyl groups. This is a dimethyl formamide. CH3CN, nothing but called as acetonitrile. DMSO, nothing but dimethyl sulfoxide. So this is dimethyl sulfoxide. 2 methyl groups should be here. This is dimethyl sulfoxide. Okay, like acetone, CH3, CO, CH3, acetone. See, these are all polar compounds. All these compounds, what I mentioned here, are polar compounds. None can release protons. So these are polar aprotic solvents. So like this, these polar aprotic solvents are favorable for SN2 mechanism. And here among these, the preference order also same. DMF greater than, CH3CN greater than, DMSO greater than acetone. This is the order of preference of solvents for SN2 mechanism. So these are the 4 factors which can affect SN2 mechanism. Structure, methyl greater than, primary greater than, secondary greater than, tertiary haloalkanes. Nature of leaving groups, So a better leaving groups favors SN2 mechanism similar to SN1. Weaker is the base or bulkier is the base, then it is the better leaving group. It favors SN2. Strength of nucleophile. Attacking nucleophile must be stronger than existing nucleophile. Anionic nucleophiles are stronger nucleophiles than compared to molecular nucleophiles. Solvent. Polar aprotic solvents favors SN2 mechanism like a dimethyl formamide DMF, acetonitrile CH3CN, dimethyl sulfoxide DMSO, acetone. These favors SN2 mechanism. So these are the major 4 factors which can affect SN2 mechanism. Right. Now let us see the prediction of SN1 and SN2. So primary haloalkanes undergo SN1 mechanism with one exception. So that exception is nothing but when halogen bonded carbon is attached to a heteroatom, or if the beta carbon has a double bond, there is multiple bond, then it favors SN1. Otherwise, primary always gives SN2 only. The exception I'll tell later. Now let us see. Secondary haloalkanes. See, if you see secondary benzyl and allyl, these 3 undergo SN1 as well as SN2 depending on the conditions what we have applied. Tertiary haloalkanes undergo always SN1. These are almost fixed except 1 or 2 cases here. Now come to secondary benzyl and allyl. I'll take an example here now. I'll go for this later. Br. This is nothing but isopropyl bromide. This is a secondary haloalkane. Benzyl. C6H5 CH2 Br. This is benzyl bromide. Next, allyl. This is allyl bromide. So all these 3 allowed to react with KOH, potassium hydroxide. But what the medium I am using is different here. Once I use water as medium, in one more case I use DMF, dimethyl formamide as medium. Now this is secondary haloalkane in aqueous medium. First this undergo ionization and forms a carbocation, isopropyl carbocation, and then this isopropyl carbocation attacked by OH minus to form isopropyl alcohol. This is product. Now this reaction takes place by which mechanism? SN1. First carbocation formation and then nucleophile attack to form the product. Suppose if the same reaction is carried out in DMF, dimethyl formamide, then directly this OH minus attack from the rear side and replaces Br minus. In a single step, we can get product isopropyl alcohol. Isopropyl alcohol. So if secondary haloalkane is allowed to react with OH minus, there is a nucleophile, in polar protic solvent favors SN1. Polar aprotic solvent SN2. So here secondary haloalkanes gives SN2 in polar aprotic solvents, whereas SN1 takes place in polar protic solvents. Polar protic solvent favors SN1, polar aprotic solvent favors SN2 mechanism for secondary haloalkanes. Tertiary use SN1. Now come to benzyl and allyl, these 2. Same type of reaction takes place here also. In aqueous medium, that is in polar protic solvent. First, we will get a benzyl carbocation, C6H5CH2 plus. benzyl carbocation is formed, and this benzyl carbocation attacked by OH minus to give benzyl alcohol C6H5CH2OH. Whereas in the same in DMF, dimethyl formamide, OH minus attack from the rear side and replaces Br minus directly in a single step. Now we can get benzyl alcohol directly here, C6H5CH2OH. So this is SN1, this is SN2. Here this is SN1, this is SN2 mechanism. Same way, if you take allyl halide, this also undergo either SN1 or SN2 depending on the medium. If you take water, first this undergo ionization to give allyl carbocation, CH2 double bond CH single bond CH2 plus, allyl carbocation is formed, and then this allyl carbocation attacked by OH minus, and we can get CH2 double bond CH single bond CH2OH. Allyl alcohol is formed. This reaction takes place by SN1 mechanism. Same reaction if carried out in DMF, dimethyl formamide, the reaction takes place by SN2 mechanism. Then what is the product formed here now? Same product in a single step. CH2 double bond CH single bond CH2OH. Now in these cases, in any case, if second in SN1 mechanism rearrangements are possible, then rearrangements also takes place. But in SN2, no rearrangements takes place. In a single step, we can get product directly. So primary gives SN2 except in one case. Secondary gives either SN1 or SN2 depending on the medium and strength of the nucleophile. So polar aprotic solvents are weak nucleophile, polar aprotic solvents are strong nucleophile is there. Strong nucleophile or polar aprotic solvent favors SN2. A weak nucleophile or polar aprotic solvents is there, that favors SN1 mechanism. Benzyl, allyl also undergo both SN1 as well as SN2 reaction. So overall, secondary, benzyl and allyl, these three undergo either SN1 or SN2 depending on the medium. If polar aprotic solvents are there, favors SN1 mechanism. Polar aprotic solvents are there, it favors SN2 mechanism. Right. Now let us see some other. Haloarenes I'll take here. Haloarenes undergo which type of nucleophilic substitution reactions? Cl. So as we discussed in haloarenes, CX bond has a partial double bond character due to resonance effect. This Cl contains 3 lone pairs of electrons. By the donation of lone pair of electrons here, CCl bond has partial double bond character. So it is difficult to break this CCl bond. So these undergo neither SN1 nor SN2. Haloarenes does not undergo SN1 or SN2 directly. Mechanism also we discussed. This haloarenes undergo nucleophilic substitution by the formation of benzene as the intermediate. By benzene mechanism, reaction takes place, not directly. So haloarenes does not undergo either SN1 or SN2 reactions. Anti-aromatic compounds. What are anti-aromatic compounds? The compounds which contains 4n pi electrons which are in conjugation. 4n plus 2 pi electrons is there, that is aromatic. If 4n pi electrons is there, that is anti-aromatic compound. So anti-aromatic compounds also does not undergo either SN1 or SN2. Both does not undergo SN or SN2. Anti-aromatic compounds. Now if we take bridge halogens compounds. See, these are called bridge compounds. Okay, this is the bridge carbon. Means the carbon bonded. This is a 1, 2, 3 cyclic rings are here. So this carbon is called as bridged carbon, or this carbon is called as bridge carbon. Now, if the halogen is present at this bridge carbon, so this also does not undergo either SN1 or SN2. So bridge halogen compound does not undergo either SN1 or SN2. Why? If you remove Br minus, C plus will be formed here. What is the hybridization of C plus sp2? The shape should be trigonal planar. Actually, here the shape of this group remaining, this is a tetrahedral. If you remove this, remaining group should be pyramidal. But actually, carbon C plus shape is trigonal planar. So Br minus replacement cannot take place. Or simultaneous attack of nucleophile. That is also not possible in case of this bridged carbon atom. So it does not undergo neither SN1 nor SN2 reaction. So this is the way of predicting whether the given compound undergo either SN1 or SN2 reaction. And one more condition I told you. In case of primary haloalkanes, if alpha carbon is bonded to a heteroatom, or if beta carbon has double bond, then it prefers SN1 also. This prefers SN1 in one particular case. Let us see what that case is. CH3, CH2, yes, CH2, Cl is there. If this is attacked by OH minus or aqueous KOH, then what is the product formed here? First, what will happen here is this undergo ionization to give CH3, CH2, yes, CH2 plus. A carbocation is formed. What is nature of here? This is attached to only one sulfur atom, heteroatom. But this carbocation formed here is stabilized through resonance effect, because this carbocation is in conjugation with this pi electrons. This electron pair is displaced here. Then we can get a resonance structure like this: CH3, CH2, S plus, CH2. These are the two resonance structures. So after removal of halide ion, what the carbocation formed here, this carbocation can be stabilized through resonance effect. So this is a stable carbocation. Now this carbocation is attacked by OH minus, and we can get the product like this: CH3, CH2, yes, CH2OH. So here the reaction takes place in two steps. This is step 1 and this is step 2. It is a two-step mechanism for SN1 kinetics, SN1 mechanism. So primary haloalkanes undergo SN1 mechanism when the halogen attached carbon, that is alpha carbon, is bonded to a heteroatom containing lone pair. In this case, primary haloalkanes also undergo SN2 mechanism. In one more case, if a beta carbon has a double bond, let us see that example also. CH3, CH double bond, CH single bond, CH2Cl. This is alpha carbon, this is beta carbon. If this is allowed to react with aqueous KOH, if this is allowed to react with aqueous KOH, first what will happen here is this undergo ionization and use CH3, CH double bond, CH single bond, CH2 plus. And now this carbocation, what is formed here, this can be stabilized through resonance, because this positive charge is in conjugation with this pi bond. This pi electrons will be shifted to here. Then what we can get? CH3, CH plus double bond 1, 2, no, single bond, CH double bond, CH2. This is stabilized through resonance effect like this. This positive charge is in a conjugation with this pi electrons. This can be displaced here. Then we can get the carbocation like this. So the carbocation what is formed here can be stabilized through resonance effect. So this is the stable carbocation. This is nothing but allylic carbocation if you observe. Double bonded carbon directed to sp3 carbon which contains positive charge. This is allylic carbon. Now this will be attacked by OH minus to give CH3 and one more. Just here now. This is a primary allylic carbocation. Correct na? This is secondary allylic carbocation. Now among these which is more stable? Secondary allylic carbocation is more stable. So this will give the major product. This will give the minor product. So primary allylic carbocation formed here that undergo rearrangement to give secondary allylic carbocation. Now this secondary allylic carbocation can give the product. So CH3, CH, OH, CH, double bond, CH2. So like this is a primary haloalkane, means halogen is bonded to primary carbon. Actually this is allylic group, and this first forms carbocation that undergo rearrangement. That rearranged carbocation can give major product like this. So if the halogen attached carbon is primary carbon, then it also can undergo SN1. So whenever alpha carbon bonded to heteroatom or beta carbon contains double bond, in such case the primary also undergo SN1 mechanism. So this is the way of predicting the reaction. That means whether it undergo SN1 reaction or SN2 reaction. So this is about nucleophilic substitution reactions. That is SN1, SN2, SNI. Out of these three, for PUC point of view, we just require the mechanism of SN1 and SN2 and comparison of characteristics of SN1 and SN2. Okay. What is the nature of the product? What type of reaction undergone by given haloalkane? And this they are asking in objective point of view. By giving a compound, they will ask which type of reaction can be undergone by the given compound, either SN1 or SN2, or it can undergo elimination, either E1 or E2. So this is regarding nucleophilic substitution reactions. So in tomorrow class, we'll discuss regarding elimination reactions. What are different types of elimination reactions? E1 mechanism, E2 mechanism, E1 CB mechanism. So these mechanisms in tomorrow class we'll discuss. Okay, thank you.